Alright, so someone left a comment on my videos asking if I could do a little video on Hammer-Ons, and I'll include a bit about pull-offs. They're struggling a bit with it. Perfectly natural to struggle with Hammer-Ons and pull-offs. They're tricky, they're hard, they're weird, but once you get used to them, you'll realize, well, I'm sure most people do realize, and that's why they're asking. They're super useful. They allow us to do things that we would otherwise really struggle to do with Banjo. And I'll start by playing a little tune that I'm trying to learn at the moment. It's a tricky tune. I can't even remember the name of it, to be honest. It's a tricky tune. Maybe I've done put this in a video before, but I'm trying to learn it with all these like little twiddly pull-offs and hammer-ons. And well, let's see how it goes. I'll just play it once, and if it's rubbish, it's rubbish. So. So I did actually miss some of the pull-offs that I'm trying to add into this tune, because I've learned the tune already, but I'm trying to play it a bit more complicated. I'll just show you very briefly. There's this bit that goes, I want to do that. And it's really tricky. The point here being that loads of tunes, this is like an Irish folk tune, loads of tunes that we play on Clawhammer use loads of hammer-ons and pull-offs, and I certainly struggle with some of them. All that happens when you improve an instrument, right, is that you try something slightly harder, and then you realize that you can't do that either. Someone else out there certainly can. It's an endless progression of just feeling like you can't play something. I'm just saying this because if that's how you feel learning hammer-ons and pull-offs or anything on banjo, it's perfectly natural. That's just, you get used to it after a while, and you just kind of accept that you're just going to feel like you're playing catch-up or something like that the whole time. That's fine. Anyway, so as I said before, when we're playing Clawhammer, there are limitations to this style. The limitation is we just go down and then up. That's all we do, right? So we hit down and pluck. We struggle as Clawhammer banjo players to hit the same note twice quickly. So that's me just hitting down on the D, open D string, the high D string. If I want to hit that note a bunch, or that string a bunch in quick succession, I'm going to really struggle on Clawhammer banjo, because it's a big inefficient style, and I'm just got downstrokes. There's tons of ways of working around that. You know, plucking a different string, the same note on a different string, that's one way around it, and you know, we might come across that in arrangements that I look in the future. But for now, one way around it is to do hammer-ons and pull-offs, because all we're doing is down, pluck, down, pluck. If I need an extra note in there, that's it, right? That's a good example, right? Hit, hammer, pluck, hit, hammer, pluck, hit, hammer, pluck, right? We would really struggle to go down, down, pluck, down, down, pluck, down, down, pluck. It's just really inefficient and feels rubbish. That's why we need hammer-ons, pull-offs, slides, and bends. They're all slurs. We call them slurs, but we're not going to cover them in this lesson. So, hammer-ons and pull-offs. The person who was asking for a little lesson on this was asking about hammer-ons, but we'll look at pull-offs as well, because we're going to look at one phrase, and it's a phrase from the tune Cripple Creek, which everyone learns, no matter what style of banjo you're playing, really. It's just a short phrase that includes a hammer-on and a pull-off, but really it is the best phrase that you can play on repeat in isolation, loads and loads and loads until you get it better, right? And it will get your hammer-ons and your pull-offs to a good level. I think pull-offs are a little bit easier than hammer-ons. I think they're a lot easier, actually. Everyone I've taught finds pull-offs easier than hammer-ons. But I'll just show you, right? So this is Cripple Creek. I'll play part A of Cripple Creek. I was a bit clumsy there. But it's just this phrase, right? That is the phrase that you want to play loads on repeat to get down your hammer-ons and your pull-offs, put them in your hammer-ons, right? So you're just gonna loads and loads and loads until it starts to sound better. So let's look at this in detail, right? First things first, we'll talk about the right hand, right? The only reason I want to talk about right hand first is because it's not important for this exercise. When we're doing something as basic and as foundational as this, I want you to just not care about your right hand technique, right? It's important, you want to get it down, practice it in isolation separately from this. But for now, we're not worried, especially about accuracy. We're not worried about accuracy. Just hit the string. So that is good practice, right, for this hammer on and pull off kind of thing. And I was just hitting all the strings, not worried about accuracy whatsoever. Technically, that part of the tune, we hit just the G string at certain points, blah, blah, blah. Trust me, do not think about right hand accuracy at all. Just hit the strings, because we're trying to get left hand stuff down. Right, so let's look at the left hand. We need to start really, really basically, right, for us to get this right. And it starts with left hand position. Before we even think about fretting or hammering on, right? Position. I've got a video, which you should totally watch, about left hand position stuff. I'll just briefly kind of sum it up here. We've got two styles for left hand position and posture. We've got this, which is like the folk or kind of traditional position. I've got this, which is classical. Classical has way better reach. Look how far I can reach with these fingers, right? Miles, right? Much more dexterity, blah, blah, blah. Whereas this has much less, but you know, it gives a bit of a firm grip on the neck. It's good for certain hammer-ons and pull-offs and certain little techniques which you use in more like folksy traditional tunes. For this, we don't care about the classical hand position. We're just in this more basic, it's not more basic, this different folk position, right? So we just want to get our hand like this. Literally, you're sitting at home, but copy what I'm doing, right? Hold your hand out like this. Touch this part of your hand, right? This bit here. This is like, it's like a little curve, right? The back of your banjo neck is ergonomically designed to fit in there perfectly. So let it just sit there like that. Perfect, right? And then just relax your hand. That's what your hand should look like. Make sure your elbow's out, not all the way in, by the way. It's important to have it out, like this. And then we want to put our finger on the second fret. The first finger, our pointer finger, index, whatever we want to call it, on the second fret of the G string. Now, thumb position is very important. You want your thumb in line with that first finger. If it's slightly further up this way, it's not a big problem, but we don't want it up this way, down the neck really. We don't want it up here. There should not be this big gap. It should be in line. This way it's not too bad, not ideal maybe, but there. See, it's in line. It's like perfectly in line. This is actually really important. If I was trying to play things on banjo, even something simple like this, I would really struggle. It's really weird. It's like it puts tension in my hand unnecessarily. There's no like finger independence when I'm in that position, all this kind of stuff. It's just worse. So help yourself by doing it right, okay? It's really basic, but hand position, we're here, right? First finger on the second fret of the G string. And now we're just gonna hit. Don't worry about accuracy, just hit all the strings, right? Like that. And then a hammer-on, we do this. And at the end of the day, I can't break it down more basically than that. If you're in the right hand, the correct position with your left hand, fretting hand, you might be left-handed, so it might be a different hand, but your fretting hand, right? Hit it. And we just want to do that. And just, for now, you don't need much force behind it whatsoever. Just get it down on the fret. You know, I can do this a bit. I can do this like trill. Don't worry about this. Don't worry if it's forceful enough to get much of a noise. Just get it down. I missed the strings completely there. Just that, right? Make sure you're landing on your fingertip, and you'll see my hand position isn't moving. It's just... Now, I got big hands. I'm quite tall. So you might struggle to reach from the second fret to the fourth fret. Do not worry about this, right? Your hands, you will get more used to it and you will be able to reach it over time. For now, just make sure you're over the third fret, so you're somewhere within this fourth fret bit. I'm like right behind the fourth fret, which is like the best place to be. If you're like way back here and you're only just over the third fret, it's not actually a massive problem. Just make sure you're over the third fret and just bring it down. Don't worry if it's not much of a hammer. Don't worry if it's not making much of a sound. Get the mechanics right before you get accuracy and like perfect sound right. Hit, bring it down. And if there's no sound whatsoever, if it's sloppy, if it's inaccurate, just keep doing it until it gets a bit better, and it will get louder in time. The volume of a hammer-on is never going to be as loud as the volume of a downstroke or a pluck. There's just less energy going into the string it cannot be as loud. So you will get this like loud first strike and then a quieter hammer-on. That's fine. Loads of my students say this, like, oh, I can't get my hammer-ons and my pull-offs loud. They're never going to be as loud. They'll never ever be as loud. They just will not be. And do not worry about how loud they are for now. Just get the basic mechanics down. Another thing not to do is, okay, ideally like we are right behind the fret here, but you know, if it's way back here and it's only just into the 4th fret, that's fine. Don't hit, like hammer down and then try to like roll it into the best position. I've seen people do this. It's this kind of, I can't really mimic it, this kind of, can you see what I'm doing there? People do that because they know or they think that that's ideal. It is ideal technically, but don't worry about it for now. So when they hit there, they kind of roll it into the best position. Once it's down, it's down. We don't want to add extra movements in because that's what you're doing. Now it's, you know, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of effort. Do not do that. It will mess everything up. And if you try a hammer and you just completely land on the 3rd fret, just keep it going. Keep the momentum going, right? Doesn't sound great? Even that can be made to work, actually. It doesn't sound great, but just keep it going and try to get over the 3rd fret into the 4th fret next time. So, hit, hammer. You could literally isolate it just down to that for a good while. Hit, and we're being sloppy with this right hand. Remember, hit, hammer, hit, hammer, hit, hammer. Until it gets a bit faster, right? How fast and accurate you are will improve over time. You just need to keep doing that in a way that is consistent and mechanically good enough, and everything else will get there in time. You have to trust me when I say this. Just keep doing it. It's good to put it in the context of the wider phrase though. So we'll look at the next thing. So you hit, and again, actually, I was being accurate there. Don't worry about accuracy. Hit, hammer, then hit. Keep your finger down. Pluck. Hit, hammer, pluck. Go as slow as you have to, and then build it up. Don't try to go too fast, too quickly. Minor things to pick up on. There's a seesaw kind of thing between these fingers. Like once I've hammered on, this finger does come off. So it is first finger on the 2nd fret, then hammer on, and it comes off. So it comes off at the same time. But we don't want to do this. Like that, where it comes off and it makes like a pull-off sound and then hammers on. It's like a seesaw and there's no sound in between, so, and it only just comes off slightly. This is less of an important thing right now, but keep your eye on your left hand a bit while you try this. Don't watch your right hand while you do that as either. When you're playing this, when you're playing anything that involves your left hand, unless you're like doing a right hand exercise, do not watch your right hand. Don't even look at it to start. Literally just hit the, I just want to be super clear on this. We don't care about your right hand accuracy. Just hit the strings. Don't look at your right hand. Don't watch it. Don't be particular about it. Just hit the strings and keep your eyes on your left hand. But if you can see this like a little bit of a seesawing between these fingers, that's ideal. Yeah. Just play it a bunch on repeat. That's really what you're doing. If you got your hand in the right position and you're getting the mechanics down in a basic way right, if you're hitting something slightly wrongly, if you're super inaccurate, if it's like not a loud hammer on, just let that come in time. So, I'm just checking my notes to make sure I cover everything that we need to cover. Yeah, so the next phrase in this part of Cripple Creek is we hit the 2nd fret of the G string again. Again, we don't care about accuracy right now, just hit all the strings and then pull off like that. Some people do like a pull off up. I can't do that, or I used to find it a bit weird. I do mine down. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. I think you should practice it down though, because that's like the normal way to do it, and I think it probably is faster long term. So most people find it's easy. You just kind of pull it off. And if when you're pulling off, you hit a bunch of strings accidentally, don't worry about that for now. You just need to get the basic mechanics down. And you need to get like a bit of momentum going. If you're trying too hard to be accurate, I keep repeating this all the time with Clawhammer Banjo, you're just never going to progress to the next point. Accuracy and precision is the next step, or it's even like 5 steps down the path, right? For now, just get the mechanics down, get the momentum, and like the kind of general rhythm, right? So this phrase is just hit, pull off, all, pluck again. So the first phrase is hit, hammer, keep that third finger down, all, pluck, and then hit, second fret again, pull off, all, pluck. Do that on repeat. If you have to, take like a tiny 2-note phrase and repeat it a bunch. You hear that? It doesn't sound great, but I'm not worried about it because, well, in this hypothetical scenario, I'm like a beginner and I'm just hitting all the strings, right? Even if we're doing that, even if we miss the strings, like, because people will miss the strings. But what most people do is like they'll miss or they'll be really inaccurate and they'll stop and they'll start again. Don't do that. Keep it going. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Start slow, build up the speed, get the mechanics right rather than accuracy, and it will come in time. As long as your left hand is in the right position, the thumb's in the right place with the index finger, and you're relaxed, elbows out, and you get the mechanics down, you will be fine. Again, don't worry about accuracy. The reason I choose this specific bit from Cripple Creek to learn hammer-ons and pull-offs is because this thing, this kind of like rhythmic and musical idea is going to be everywhere when you're playing Clawhammer. You know, we're drum dittying a lot of the time when we're playing Clawhammer banjo. It's really common to just I mean, that's just me hanging out on G, right, and just chucking in random hammer-ons and pull-offs. But that already sounds pretty musical. It sounds pretty decent already, and it's a really simple musical idea, but it is all based on that same pattern of just a hit, a hammer, all, plug, hit, hammer, all, plug, hit, pull off, all, plug. Do it on a different string, hit, hammer, all, plug, hit, pull off, all, plug, hit, hammer, all, plug, hit, pull off, all, plug. These ideas in different parts of the neck, they sound different because they're slightly different notes, or maybe they are a slightly different rhythm, but it's the same basic idea. You need to get that kind of thing down to be able to play Clawhammer decently. But it comes from getting the mechanics rather than the exact details right. It will come in time. Trust me, I promise. Another thing you could practice in isolation is just like a trill. A trill is when we don't even need the right hand really for a trill. Let's say we take that 2 to 4 hammer-on idea, right? So instead of going hit, hammer, all, plug, if we just keep our first finger there, this time we keep it there, we don't seesaw back and forth, and we just hit the 4th fret, pull off, hit, pull off. I'm right behind the fret there on the 4th fret, but it doesn't actually sound any worse when I'm just over the 3rd fret onto the 4th fret. So if you can't reach it yet and you struggle, keep this hand position correct, and that's fine. I'd recommend keeping your 1st fret right behind the your 1st finger right behind the 2nd fret though, like that. That is important. So don't be miles behind here. Keep that there, and then just hammer, pull, hammer, pull, hammer, pull. And look, okay, see how inaccurate I'm being within the 4th fret? Sometimes I'm right here, sometimes I'm there, right back. I'm just doing that to demonstrate how unimportant it is. Just do this a bunch. You won't be as fast as me yet, but you'll notice hammer-ons and pull-ups aren't that loud. And the faster I go, the less loud they are compared to just hitting a bunch of strings. There's just more velocity and more power, more energy is going into the strings with my right hand than it is with my left hand, so don't worry about that. I repeat myself a lot. I say don't worry a lot, but it is because people worry a lot when they're practicing and playing things. It's very common to feel like you are the only person who is struggling with this specific technique or whatever, when that is just not true. Everyone sucks at banjo if they've never played banjo before or if they've only just started. Human beings do not play banjo in nature. It just does not happen. We're not evolutionarily designed for banjo, right? Not at all. It requires a lot of fine motor skills and, musical skills that are really weird, I guess, at the end of the day. And we have to consciously put effort into learning them. And it's all also cumulative. You learn one thing, you have to learn the next thing, and then we build up. Don't try to run before you walk, right? Just get these mechanics down, just hit the thing, hammer on, don't worry about volume, don't even worry about accuracy. If you hammer onto the wrong string, you go, oh, I hammered onto the low D string there. Doesn't matter, keep it going. I got the mechanics right, I'm totally inaccurate. Sort it out in the process of just repeating it, yeah? Yeah, so I don't say much about these trills, but you could just do this, right? And that will help you be able to stretch a bit further in time, and you get more used to this just mechanical motion of just hammer, pull off, hammer, pull off, hammer, pull off. You could also do the same with the open to the 2nd fret. And like for now, like you'll notice my movements are actually relatively small. I keep things right close to the fret. That's something you'll want to get to eventually, but not right now. And he said, don't worry. I keep saying don't worry. And then I said it anyway. Yeah. Do not concern yourself. That's another way of saying it. Do not concern yourself with these smaller, technically more efficient motions right now. If you have to, you know, these big motions are perfectly fine. It's what you have to do to start off with. Hammer, pull off, hammer, pull off, hammer, pull off. And if your pull-offs are really weak and your hammer-ons are really weak, we don't care. Just keep it going until we get a bit more volume out of it, and then it'll get better. But it will never be as loud as a right-hand strike or pluck. He says, repeating himself for the 20th time. So hopefully this has been helpful for people. I'm not exaggerating when I say that you should just play this loads. You should just repeat it over and over and over and over again until it starts to sound better and you start to feel more confident with it. And then, if you've seen my video on Cripple Creek, or if you already know Cripple Creek, integrate that tiny phrase, or those tiny couple phrases or whatever, into the whole tune and do it that way. Just, yeah, we want to, like, when we learn a thing, we learn it a little bit at a time, and we zoom in on one little phrase and we repeat it a bunch until it sounds a bit more accurate, and then we integrate it into the music immediately next to it, you know, a bar or a phrase either side, and then we just keep getting bigger and bigger until we got a whole tune in one. But we need to take our time with things, and we need to work more on mechanics than accuracy for now. Let accuracy come later, okay? The reason I repeat that so much is because even though, you know, people who are paying me for my time, right, I think they believe me when I tell them it. They do believe me, right, and they're paying me for it. So, you know, if they didn't believe me, I assume they would just stop coming to me for lessons. But people act as if they don't believe me because they just they don't put it into practice, or they're still worrying about accuracy. They're still like, oh, I'm not accurate or whatever. But yeah, you just have to trust me that it's the mechanics and it's the momentum that you gain and you keep going with the Clawhammer style that is more important right now than accuracy. Anyway, I'll stop repeating myself and I'll just leave the lesson here. Hopefully this has been helpful. If it has, smash that like button and subscribe and all that kind of stuff, and watch my other videos. I do break things down in excruciating detail, and hopefully that's what people want, right? So yeah, see you around. I'm planning to do more videos. I just had some weird post-viral thing from when I had COVID last year. I had it last summer, and it keeps coming back, this weird thing. It's really annoying, and it just exhausts me. So I think it's kind of mostly gone. So I'm planning to be better with this. I keep saying that, but I am planning to be better. I'll see you around. And if you do have anything that, you know, if there's anything that you want help with particularly, I will try to cover that as a topic. That's what I've done with this video. Anyway, see you around. Bye.